So we're back in LinuxMint 21.3, and in the last episode we set up the panel. We still have it here, including the non-working temperature, because we're in a virtual machine. Who would have thought? And what we're gonna do here is basically fix the monospace font. I mean, everything's fine with the default one, but we're just gonna massively improve it. So how we're gonna do that? I'm just gonna recommend you JetBrains Mono. I don't use JetBrains products myself too much, but their mono font is the best I've ever used. You can go on this website through the page and consider for yourself all the benefits that it claims. I agree with most of them. You can look up. Obviously, if you don't like it, get a different one. You can focus on things like the G's, for example, that are used, but like Consolas is a very popular monospace font, and if you just look at the G, the K, and I just absolutely prefer the one from JetBrains. When you look at the stars, for example, it really is very pragmatic, right? It doesn't play any weird games. It's just an R looks like an R. There are no crazy weird other things. So I highly recommend this one, but get whatever else if you're used to another monospace font. If you are not used to any other monospace font and you don't know what to get, I highly recommend this one. So you would the base font, you would just download it from here. But because in the next episode we're gonna set up a better command line, let's say interface, or how you would use the command line, right? I'm gonna recommend to get this font through the NerdFonts. The NerdFonts are basically taking several base fonts and they package them together with a bunch of these special icons, right? That they represent like special things like products or programming languages or whatever, right? The icons can be easily searched when you use them for your own tools, but from the downloads you can just search the monospace or other font that you want to use together with these special characters, and just download it from there. If you are curious about how the different fonts looks like, or you really just wanna get a different one, go this link to the programmingfonts.org is quite good. But in our case, we just look up JetBrains Mono, NerdFont, and we download it. The thing takes up around 100 megabytes, which is several times larger than the base one, but that shouldn't be too much of a surprise since it packs so many extra fonts. So this is it, 105 megabytes. And the way we install it is the same as the original font would instruct us how to install. Under you would just unzip and put it to local share fonts. It's exactly what we're gonna do also with this with the NerdFonts. So here we have the thing in downloads. I extract it here, and then I Control X and I take it to so to see hidden files you do Control H, bang, local, share, and if you haven't done this before, there is no fonts folder, so you create it. Create new folder, fonts, bang. Open, automatically gets registered, kind of, you know, like these files, these .uuid files are the way how Linux kind of indexes, or like it decides which fonts to use. I'm not an expert in this, but just don't get spooked that it suddenly created a file here. This is just a thing for fonts in Linux. So I paste the thing here, and that's it. That's the whole installation. I'm not 100% sure if you need to run this caching thing for fonts, but let's just see. First, let me maybe show you what's actually inside. So all these 99 files we have are split into the JetBrains Mono font, and that one splits into like the base JetBrains Mono and JetBrains Mono NL. The NL means no ligatures. Ligatures are let me show you on this page. Ligatures are when you get two or more separate characters and they get combined into one, right? So this is an example here. I wonder if they call it here ligatures, but this, for example, these are three characters, but when you use three equal signs next to each other, they get displayed in this way. If you don't like that, if you want to have it viewed as just plain three equal signs, you would use the NL version, the no ligatures, to not do this magic thing. To be honest, I like this one, but depends where. For example, while coding, I'm like 50-50 on it, but in a CLI interface, in a console, I almost prefer not to have it, but I'm not 100% like strict on these things. But it's good that the font has this feature. If you want it, you can use it, and that's amazing. Also, not every application supports this. So the standard console you get in LinuxMint, it doesn't support that. So even if you use the ligature version, you will not get the ligatures here. But the XAdd, the standard monospace text editor, he supports ligatures. So you will see ligatures here. So that's the first separation. With ligatures, without ligatures. So these ones, they are like, you will never ever have them, even if the client supports it. And then among them, it's split into the base, mono, and propo version. What's the specific difference between plain mono and propo can be found in okay, let me copy this and paste. Okay, so this is a whole discussion on this topic. The simple short answer is that you just want the plain. You just want the plain one. But what the plain does is that it can look like this, right? The icon, the special icon, it does not break the grid that you would normally expect in a monospace font. So if you would absolutely want to use these special icons within the words without any extra space behind it, you would, like, let's say you want to just substitute a letter, then you would use the mono version. So this is the mono version. We will use this one because the icon is a little bigger, and in the future video for the CLI tools that use this, they expect this. But then there is the Propo version that was used, like introduced recently. It combines the effect where you still keep the big one, but it pushes along the next letter. But what this creates is that you that the grid is not 100% kept, as they explain here. Like in this picture, it looks like it is kept, but as far as I understand, you are not bound by any grid, like that it can break the grid. So I don't know who wants this, but it's there. Probably for fonts that are not primarily monospaced, but if you use a monospace font and the icon breaks the monospace, like what's the, if it breaks the grid, then what's the purpose in the first place, right? So you can look into this if you're more interested in that. Okay, so that's the explanation what we just got. Now let's see if it's already available. So we go to font selection, and here under monospace font, we leave the rest as it is, but the Deja Vu Sans Mono, I mean, it's not horrible, but this is so much way better. If we search for Jet, yeah, see, it's already there, even though we didn't run that caching command. So with the thing in mind that I already explained with the Propo and other things, we go to the beginning, to the base one, without any Propo or Mono words, and then we just decide based on the thickness, and we just get regular, because like these other ones you would use just for special situations, right? Or like in your editor, right? When you say bold, it uses this one immediately. Just occasionally, for example, in the IRC client, in what's it called? XChat. In XChat, I set up the medium one because for some reason it looks way better there. Like this one looks slightly thinner, this one looks a little better, but normally you should use regular because I think that's just the recommended one. And we set it to 12. Here we open XAdd, and it's already there. So this is the proper R, and this is the normal G, and yeah, the typical 7s and 4s. This is great. This is perfect. And it works because here in preferences, it just says to use the default one, use the system default one. Otherwise it would be the size 10 of the Deja Vu font, and it's way too small, and this type of font is much better. And another thing, since we're already here, we're gonna improve XAdd a little bit. So first thing, in the tool, we're gonna get rid of this toolbar because it just takes up a little bit too much space. Any of these buttons you should know the shortcut for anyway, right? Control N, Control O, Control S, Control Z, Control Y, Control X, C, V, Control F, and if you wanna replace it, like you can just check it here that it's Control H. This just is absolutely unnecessary, so bang, toolbar gone. You could also get rid of this thing, but to be honest, I think it's actually useful. It can show you on which line you are, column, space, like how much spaces this thing takes. You can actually set up the language if you have some JSON or whatever open, so this can format the text a little bit. So I kind of like the bottom panel. So this is already a slight improvement. And then in the preferences, what did I write? Get rid of line number. Not to get rid, but put in line numbers. Huge improvement already for me. I like to have that. And matching brackets. No, this is horrible, the current line, but matching brackets, yeah. That simply just makes it so that when you have something like this, right, the moment you touch it, it highlights the one where you're coming from. It can be a slight, it can be helpful. And one last thing that I like to have here is to allow cut trailing spaces. So that makes it so that if I leave some spaces here, blah blah blah, you know, if I forget to like delete them or whatever, if I save this, like whatever, get saved, right? And it got rid of the last line and these ones. If I Control S again, it gets rid of it. I like that. I don't like when I have any documents and for some reason they have extra lines there. If you use Markdown and you're a horrible person, and instead of escaping to a new line, instead of using this, you use the double space, it would break that, so don't use it for that. But I think like doing a line break by making two spaces, I think that's bad practice anyway. So I think that's all. And there's one more thing. The hinting, I almost always use set to full. So let me just reopen this. Yeah, okay. Just clicking that made a slight graphical glitch, but okay, everything's fine like this. Just some people recommend doing that, and I'm not sure if we can see with the plain eye the difference, but many people recommend doing this. And yeah, I also set it to full. The hinting allows for producing clearer, legible text on screen. Yeah, I mean, why not? So this is all, and in the next episode where I'm gonna go through the command line, and so the better font is here already, but the command line as it is right now, it's not very amazing, so we're gonna set it up. Oh, and let me just quickly show you the ligatures. If I, for example, put 3, like 3 have a special way how to show them, right? For example, the equals would be like this, 3, and then the 4 get break it again, like this feature. So I think that looks great, and that's all. So thanks for your attention, and ciao ciao.